Chosen one, prepare your heart, because what's coming is not just a blessing, it's an overflow. Everything that's been withheld, delayed, or seemingly denied is about to pour into your life in waves. Not drops, not crumbs, but a divine flood. When God funds something, no one can stop it. And this is heaven's signature on your season. You've walked through the fire, and now you're walking into fullness. Chosen one, prepare for the overflow, because this moment is not random. It's written, orchestrated, and sealed in the invisible realm. Watch this video until the very end. And if something within you resonates deeply, comment your warmest wishes and 144. That sacred number that echoes the rhythm of alignment and divine appointment. Your wish is not small. It has energy. It charges the atmosphere. It becomes part of this collective manifestation, and the universe listens. Now, let's get into it, because what you're about to experience is more than financial favor. It's an inner unlocking. The overflow that's coming touches all areas of your life: resources, relationships, revelations, and restoration. You've been living in the drought so long that abundance might feel unfamiliar. But don't retreat. God has already funded this next move. All you have to do is show up ready. The provision is not just about dollars and cents. It's the favor that turns no into yes. The kind that opens doors you didn't knock on and leads you into rooms where you never had to beg for a seat. This is overflow that doesn't just restore what was lost. It gives you more than you imagined. Chosen one, you've been tested, and every test wasn't meant to punish, it was meant to prepare. Because God never sends overflow to a leaky vessel. The reason you had to go through what you did was to reinforce your foundation, strengthen your character, clean out the residue of old beliefs. Now you're ready. Ready not just to receive, but to carry it, to manage it, to multiply it. You had to learn the silence before the sound. You had to walk the desert before you could plant in the garden. And now you're standing on holy ground, and the flood is near. You may have noticed things shifting, subtle signs, strange dreams, unexplainable peace, sudden endings, and silent whispers. These aren't coincidences. These are confirmations. You're not crazy for feeling like something huge is around the corner, because it is. You're not delusional for believing that all your sacrifices meant something, because they did. You're not wrong for pulling back, for staying in, for working quietly, because while others were loud and scattered, you were grounded and rooted, and God saw it. Heaven recorded it, and now heaven's about to reward it. The overflow is coming because you didn't settle when others did. You didn't sell out when it would have been easier. You didn't abandon your principles for temporary comfort. And now the reward has caught up to you. The harvest you thought would never show up is already moving toward your field. You can feel it in your spirit. That tingling in your chest? That's alignment. That stillness before the storm? That's favor forming. Get ready to receive. This isn't the time to shrink. This isn't the time to question your worth. This isn't the time to doubt if you're ready. If God says you are, then you are. No resume, no credentials, no outside validation needed. Heaven chose you. You didn't choose this overflow. It chose you. Chosen one. The reason it feels so heavy right now is because you're standing right at the edge of the release. You're carrying something sacred. something valuable. And the spiritual pressure you feel is proof that the delivery is near. This overflow that's coming is not random. It is measured, intentional, and rooted in a divine timeline. It's not arriving early, not late, but at the exact second your soul is finally ready to steward what you once only dreamed of. That's why things had to slow down. That's why people had to walk away. That's why the silence became louder than the noise. God wasn't abandoning you, He was aligning you. He wasn't punishing you, He was positioning you. Because the overflow can't arrive in chaos. It requires clarity. It demands space. It needs a vessel that's been emptied of fear, doubt, and self-sabotage. And that's exactly what's been happening to you. The delay was a detox. You were never forgotten. You were being refined. Every no was a redirection. Every closed door was divine protection. Every time you were left out, overlooked, misunderstood, it wasn't rejection. It was preservation. Because when the overflow hits, it will require a stronger you. A version of you that knows what to do with the blessing. Not someone who fumbles it out of fear. Not someone who runs from it. But someone who walks in it boldly, as if they were born for it. Because you were. God funded this journey knowing exactly who He chose. He saw your tears and still said, "They're the one." He watched you break, but knew you'd rise. He allowed the crushing because He knew the oil it would release. And now you're stepping into a flow that can't be earned through performance. It's favor, not force. It's alignment, not anxiety. And it will feel so surreal that even those who doubted you will be silenced by the proof. The overflow will touch your finances, yes, but more than that, it will touch your identity, your peace, your authority, your vision. You'll start seeing yourself clearly, no longer through the lens of the past or the limitations of others, but through the eyes of divine truth. You'll stop second-guessing your worth. You'll stop dimming your light to fit in. Because the overflow will expose who you really are and who you were always meant to be. This blessing is not small. It is big enough to shift generations, to rewrite your family's story, to shock everyone who thought they knew your limits. And yet, it's not meant to change you. It's meant to reveal you. You were always abundant. You were always royal. You were always worthy. But now, the external will finally match the internal. The world is about to witness what God already confirmed. Chosen one, don't be surprised if the same people who doubted you start reaching out again. Don't be shocked when the atmosphere around you changes, when rooms open up, when your name is mentioned in places your feet haven't yet walked into. This is what overflow does. It shifts the environment. It introduces you to new circles, new dimensions, new influence. Not for ego, but for purpose, for impact, for the kingdom. And in this overflow, you will know peace. Not just financial peace, but emotional peace, mental peace, soul peace. You won't have to hustle for validation. You won't have to explain yourself anymore. The fruit will speak. The transformation will be loud. The favor will be undeniable. But stay humble. Stay grounded. Because the same God who gives it trusts you to carry it. Not flaunt it. Not waste it. But build with it. Heal with it. Lead with it. Your story is no longer just about survival. It's about overflow. And that means becoming a river, not a reservoir. Let what's coming through you bless others. Let your life become a testimony of what happens when obedience meets divine timing. Chosen one, the preparation has always been the proof. You thought you were being punished when in reality, you were being prepared. Because this kind of overflow doesn't land on the untested. It rests on the faithful. The ones who kept going when nothing made sense. The ones who believed even with a shattered heart. You didn't just wait, you endured. And heaven took note of that. See, when God funds something, it's not just financial. It's spiritual. It's emotional. It's holistic. He doesn't pour into empty ambition. He funds purpose. That's why you had to release old identities, false friendships, and expired expectations. You couldn't carry the overflow if you were still clinging to what used to be. God had to strip away the illusion so you could handle the real. And now that the old has fallen away, you're stepping into something that fits your soul. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's tailored, handcrafted by divine design. The opportunities you're about to walk into won't drain you. They'll energize you. The rooms you're stepping into will feel like home. Because the overflow only settles where there is alignment. There's a reason why you've been feeling an internal shift. You're not anxious, you're alert. You're not tired, you're transitioning. Something within you knows that life is about to change dramatically, but peacefully. Suddenly, but securely. This isn't chaos, it's calibration. God is lining everything up behind the scenes. People, places, resources, and all you have to do is stay in position. Don't overthink it. Don't rush it. Don't try to figure out every detail. That's not your job. Your role is to remain available. Stay open. Trust what you feel, even if it doesn't make sense to others. The overflow doesn't require your logic. It requires your surrender. You didn't get here through control. You got here through release. Keep releasing. Keep flowing. Keep trusting. You're about to find yourself in moments that feel too big for you. Doors will open that you didn't knock on. Favor will come from unexpected places. People you once admired from a distance will now call you by name. You'll feel the elevation, not just externally, but spiritually. A deep knowing that you're not who you used to be. That God didn't just restore you, He redefined you. And in this overflow, you'll start to see divine patterns. Everything that felt random will start to make sense. The delays, the betrayals, the silent seasons, the crushing. It was all designed to refine your character, to sharpen your discernment, to upgrade your spiritual sensitivity. Because overflow requires maturity. Without it, you'd mislabel the blessing or misplace the favor. But not now. Not you. Not this time. You're not just receiving overflow, you're becoming it. You are the evidence of God's hand at work. You are the walking proof that surrender creates miracles, that silence births strategy, that obedience unlocks provision. And you'll notice that you don't even have to announce it. The light on you will speak for itself. Continue in this posture. Overflow is not a moment, it's a movement. And it's just getting started. Chosen one, you didn't chase this. That's why it's chasing you now. You weren't out there hustling for clout, forcing doors, or begging to be seen. You were hidden, healed, and made holy in secret. You were doing the inner work when no one was clapping. And that's why God has declared, you are ready for the overflow. This overflow is not just a blessing, it's a signal. It signals the end of spiritual famine. It declares that what was once withheld is now being released. Not because you finally became good enough, but because you remained faithful when you could have quit. You were passed over, ignored, underestimated, but heaven never forgot. And now the release is not gradual. It's rapid. You may feel like you can barely keep up with the sudden shifts, divine surprises, and open doors. That's because the season has changed. What was slow is now swift. What was blocked is now flowing. The spiritual dams have broken, and the waters of favor are rushing in. But hear this: the overflow is not just to elevate your life. It's to elevate others through your life. This provision has a purpose. That's why you feel such a divine urgency to prepare, to clear space, to sharpen your focus. You sense that something massive is coming. And you're right. The blessings ahead are too big for clutter, distraction, or doubt. You'll find that what once required intense effort will now flow with ease. The people you once had to chase will now pursue you. The resources you once lacked will now chase after your obedience. Why? Because God isn't rewarding performance. He's honoring alignment. You stopped trying to impress the world, and you chose to walk in truth. That truth unlocked divine funding. This is supernatural strategy. The overflow is arriving through obedience, not opportunity. You didn't need to manipulate your way here. You simply kept showing up with an honest heart. And now the tables are turning, but not out of revenge. They're turning because it's time. It's your moment, and no one can deny what heaven has scheduled. Chosen one, you may start to feel a pull away from people, places, and habits that once comforted you. Don't resist it. God is preparing you to carry what few ever receive. This kind of blessing demands a clear spirit, a focused heart, and a humble posture. You're not just being blessed, you're being entrusted. Heaven knows it can trust you now. There will be moments in this season where you'll be tempted to question if it's real. Don't. Trust what you're sensing. Trust the divine setup. Remember, overflow doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it starts in silence. Sometimes it looks like rest, like peace, like inner stillness. That is the evidence. That is the shift. You are stepping into rooms that were built with you in mind. The conversations, the contracts, the collaborations, they are all part of a divine equation that now balances in your favor. No more scarcity, no more striving, no more survival mode. You are stepping into supernatural supply. But stay anchored. Don't let the blessings distract you from the source. This is not the time to get comfortable. This is the time to remain grounded, to honor the same rhythm that got you here. Quiet discipline, unshakable faith, and fierce gratitude. The overflow is here. The funding is divine. And the next chapter is about to take everything to a new dimension. You've endured the drought, the delay, and the detours. Now the divine flood is coming. But it won't drown you. It will carry you. The overflow that's approaching isn't meant to overwhelm you, but to elevate you. It's heaven's way of making up for everything that seemed lost, stolen, or wasted. There's a grace moving around your life now that feels unfamiliar. It's not chaotic. It's not forced. It doesn't beg to be seen. It simply flows. You'll recognize it because doors will open without knocking. Answers will come without chasing. And clarity will arise without confusion. That's the mark of divine overflow. It doesn't require stress to sustain it. And as this divine provision multiplies, your discernment must sharpen. Not everyone can go where you're going. Not everyone should touch what you've been entrusted with. God isn't giving you overflow to impress the world. He's giving it to express His glory through you. You're the vessel, not the source. Stay humble. Stay alert. This is a supernatural economy. The rules are different here. In the world system, they told you to grind harder, chase faster, and sell your peace for progress. But in God's system, overflow comes to the obedient, not the loud. It chases the surrendered, not the self-centered. You didn't earn this. You aligned with it. You'll begin to see that things that once took months will now happen in moments. You'll feel a pace of favor that's almost surreal. And when that happens, don't apologize for it. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. Don't hide your light just because it's starting to shine brighter than they expected. You paid for this in tears. You sowed this in silence. You trusted when nothing made sense. Now, the overflow is heaven's answer. This is also the time to steward what's coming with sacred discipline. Overflow is not a license to be reckless. It's a call to build. Build the vision. Build the legacy. Build the space for others who are still praying for what you're walking in. Be the evidence that God funds purpose, not performance. And remember, you are not late. You are not behind. You are not lacking. You are precisely on time, moving in sync with divine scheduling. Every no you received was protecting this yes. Every delay was a disguised setup. Every rejection was redirection. And now it's all coming together, rapidly, radically, righteously. You may start seeing unusual favor, strangers helping you, resources being handed to you, opportunities you never applied for showing up. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. It's the overflow touching everything connected to your calling. Chosen one, you were never forgotten. You were being prepared. And now, the spotlight of heaven is moving, not to glorify you, but to magnify what obedience looks like in motion. The overflow is not just about provision, it's about positioning. When God funds something, He's not merely providing resources. He's aligning your name with influence, your purpose with territory, and your calling with expansion. This season is not just about receiving more, it's about becoming more. Not for ego, but for divine execution. Many people will be shocked at the way things begin to move for you now. Not because you shouted the loudest, but because you stayed the stillest. You didn't broadcast your battles. You didn't manipulate moments. You simply trusted the assignment, even when it was quiet, even when it was costly. That's why you're about to receive publicly what you managed faithfully in private. God funds purpose that is anchored, not scattered. He doesn't pour oil into vessels with cracks of pride, fear, or arrogance. He pours into those who emptied themselves of needing human approval. And you, chosen one, have been emptied in the secret place. So now you can carry in the spotlight what others could only dream of holding. But be mindful. With overflow comes a test of identity. Don't let the blessing distract you from the blueprint. Don't start walking like the world just because you've been favored in front of it. Keep your posture low. Keep your heart clean. Keep your intentions pure. Overflow without integrity is just noise. But overflow with humility becomes legacy. You'll notice that what once drained you no longer has access to you. The emotional leeches, the silent saboteurs, the spiritual spectators, they won't be able to reach you in this next level. The overflow isn't just wealth. It's wisdom. It's discernment. It's elevation. You'll no longer chase connections. They'll be assigned to you. The right people will show up with right timing and divine strategy, and you won't need to convince them. They'll recognize the mark on your life. And this overflow will be multidimensional. Financially, yes. Spiritually, especially. Emotionally, absolutely. Physically, undeniably. Health will shift. Energy will return. Joy will rise. Doors that have been spiritually sealed will fly open, not by force, but by favor. That's what divine funding does. It carries grace with it. It brings ease where there was once exhaustion. You're going to feel the overflow before you fully see it. Don't ignore the subtle changes. They are proof that the wind is shifting. You'll feel lighter, more clear, more focused. You'll feel heaven clearing space around you. Not everything will make sense, but you'll feel peace in the unknown. That's overflow too, the kind that begins in the soul before it shows in the scene. And when people ask how this happened, how everything shifted in your favor, don't point to your resume. Don't point to your strength. Point to your surrender. Let your testimony be the story of a soul that didn't quit, of a heart that didn't harden, of a spirit that didn't bow to pressure, and of a destiny that was fully funded by the Most High. As the overflow begins to move through your life, chosen one of the first things you'll notice is how much you've outgrown the version of yourself that had to survive. The version that begged for clarity, questioned their worth, chased after proof. That version served its purpose. But now, you walk differently. You no longer operate from desperation. You move with divine confirmation. God didn't just fund your journey to fill your hands. He did it to free your mind. Because the overflow is also a mental reset. Suddenly, the fears that once caged you won't hold the same weight. The worries that drained your sleep now vanish before they can even settle. You don't just think bigger, you think freer. You're not stuck in survival, you're stepping into strategy. And the strategy is divine. Because overflow is not a mistake. It's a move. It's an announcement from the heavens that says, this one is ready. Ready to carry more. Ready to impact more. Ready to represent what obedience looks like when it meets divine backing. You weren't called to live hidden forever, but you had to remain invisible long enough for the power to mature inside you. Now, everything is responding to the call on your life. Your finances are shifting. Your relationships are evolving. Even your physical space is being rearranged to accommodate the abundance. And this time, you're not over-explaining. You're not proving your growth. You're not apologizing for being in alignment. You're simply showing up, fully, authentically, and unshakably you. And yes, some people won't understand the overflow, because they never saw the oil. They weren't there for the pressing. They weren't there for the silence. They didn't witness the nights you cried, fasted, and fought with your own doubt. But they'll see the fruit. And while they may not understand the process, they won't be able to deny the outcome. God is funding your overflow with more than money. He's funding it with momentum, with miracles, with moments that rewrite history. Watch how the impossible bows in your presence, how the no's from before transform into yes without effort. How people who once doubted your journey now stand in awe, wondering how it all happened. But you'll know it wasn't luck, it was divine timing. And this is why you had to wait. The waiting season was not punishment, it was preparation. Preparation for the weight of what's coming. Because overflow doesn't just pour into your hands, it pours through your spirit. It demands you be ready to handle not just the blessing, but the responsibility that comes with it. And you are ready. So now, walk boldly, not arrogantly, but boldly. Because when God funds something, it cannot be stolen, slowed, or sabotaged. No weapon formed can prosper. No voice raised against you will be able to stand. No delay can deny the release that's already been written. The atmosphere around you has already shifted, chosen one. Even if you can't see it all clearly, your spirit knows. Something is breaking open in the unseen. What was locked is now being released. What was blocked is now being rerouted. This is not just a blessing. This is the fulfillment of divine infrastructure laid in silence, built in obedience, and activated in perfect timing. The overflow isn't just coming. It's already begun. You are stepping into a realm where your name is being whispered in rooms you haven't entered yet. Your anointing is being recognized in circles that once overlooked you. But now, it's no longer about who sees you. It's about what's being aligned for you. The doors that open now are not based on favor from man, but from the funding of heaven. God is orchestrating access that no one else could grant or block. Understand this: overflow requires capacity. That's why you had to go through seasons of stretching. It wasn't comfortable, but it was necessary. You were being expanded in silence to hold what can only be poured in power. And now, that power is here, quiet, steady, unshakable. You'll walk into places where you once felt small and feel no need to shrink. You'll sit at tables and realize you no longer need to prove your worth. You are not the same. The overflow will look like sudden deposits of favor, not just in your account, but in your purpose. People will show up with answers you didn't ask for, but deeply needed. Opportunities will land with timing so divine, it'll leave no room for doubt. You won't have to chase anymore. What's yours will start to recognize your energy and find its way to you. That's the shift. That's what God funded. But this overflow doesn't come for ego. It comes for impact. You're not being poured into just to feel full. You're being filled to become a well for others. Your overflow will bless people you've never even met. That's how deep this goes. The ripple effect of your elevation will restore families, open gates, and inspire generations. Because what you carry is rare. What you steward is sacred. You are not just chosen. You are trusted. Trusted with timing. Trusted with treasure. Trusted with truth. And that's why God funded your journey. Not to flaunt, not to flex, but to fulfill a vision bigger than you. A vision rooted in legacy, love, and liberation. You didn't ask for the overflow, you aligned with it. And now it's arriving like a flood. So, keep your posture high and your heart humble. You're not waiting anymore. You're walking. Every step forward from here is guided by divine backing. The foundation is solid. The assignment is active. And the overflow is here. Everything you once lacked is about to find you in abundance. This is not the time to hesitate. The preparation was never just about accumulating material. It was about expanding your vessel, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, so the flow won't crush you when it arrives. Many people pray for overflow, but few prepare for the weight of it. That's why you were isolated. That's why things felt delayed. That's why the doors didn't open when you knocked. Because God wasn't just sending resources, He was sending responsibility. He wasn't just shifting your income, He was shifting your identity. The overflow isn't just about what you'll have, it's about who you become while receiving it. And now you walk into rooms with wisdom you didn't have before. You recognize fake alliances. You see through surface opportunities. You understand the value of timing and the danger of rushing. Because now you carry vision that must be protected. You carry destiny that must be stewarded. Your hands are not empty anymore. They are appointed to manage wealth, favor, and divine strategy. What's ahead requires a steady heart, clear mind, and a humble spirit. Because not everyone will clap for what's coming to you, but you won't need applause. You'll walk with assignment. The overflow is not loud, but it is undeniable. It doesn't always announce itself, but it shifts atmospheres. People may not understand how or why, but you'll know. God funded it. This is not your cue to show off. It's your cue to show up. Your season of hiding was for this moment of visibility, not for your ego, but for your impact. So stand tall, chosen one. You've been approved in silence. You've been honored in private. Now you'll be rewarded in public, not to be praised, but to be positioned. The overflow is not a reward. It's a tool. Use it well.